Well, finally, we've had people from within the property industry speak up and tell the truth. Following the interest rate increase from 2.25 to 3% yesterday, the Governor of the Bank of England actually made a statement where he predicted house prices will fall by 31% over the next year. Inflation will peak at 17%, but thankfully things are not as bad as they were 2-3 weeks ago. He's now saying that he doesn't think interest rates will peak above 5%, so that's something at least. Bear in mind our base rate is still only 3%, that's still very low, and although over recent weeks fixed rates were above 6%, it could have been the banks overreacting a little bit because they were expecting the base rate to rise much more. They have come down a little bit, and you'll probably notice that they will fall further. So for the time being, that may well be a small reprieve. Although next year will be a difficult year because we will literally have a financial perfect storm. We'll have the support for the energy price cap ending in April for most people. There's 1.8 million fixed rate mortgages ending by the end of next year, which for many of them means their mortgage payments will increase significantly, and inflation is going to peak at 17%. So every month that goes by, most of you are taking a pay cut, which is making everything even harder. For those of you thinking about moving and wondering what to do, as I've said previously, if you're a next time buyer, you could actually benefit from a falling market, provided that you negotiate correctly. Think in terms of percentages, not pounds and pence. So if you're buying upwards, if you take a drop of 10% on your property and you're buying one that's more expensive, then do not go ahead unless you get a 10% fall on that property, even though the agent will try to just round it down to pounds and pence. Go for the 10% and you could in fact be better off. First time buyers, my advice still stands. I hope that those of you who took my advice to pause are still on hold. I stand by what I said. If you're thinking about buying a new property, even if you have one agreed on a small deposit, I would not go ahead at this point in time. You will invariably be in negative equity from the minute you sign on the dotted line. I would wait until the dust settles. We've still got the OBR report. We've still got the next budget on the 17th, I believe. We need to see how the market will react to that. And then we need to give it time until sellers become a bit more realistic about their asking prices. So I would hold off, because if you sign on the dotted line, you could find yourself with a stranglehold of negative equity for years to come, because it will take well over a year before property bottoms out, if not longer, and it will be several years before, not only for them to move upwards, but for them to recover to where they have been recently, let alone exceeded. So please wait. And I hope that this has been of help to you. Things are not quite as bad as they could have been, even though next year is going to be a very, very difficult year for most people. If you plan correctly, then we will get through it. If at this point in time you are in a position where you need to sell, it is crucial that you price your property correctly. If you sit back and dig your heels in waiting for a buyer, week on week your property will appear more expensive as the property around you begins to fall. So if you really need to sell, you need to establish what buyers are paying, and you need to come on the market at or below that price to get immediate interest and get out as quickly and as cleanly as possible. And if you do that, hard as it may be to make the decision, it may well mean that you will be able to buy back in next year at a lower price and save yourselves all of the stress and all of the drama of struggling with payments and possibly even losing your home. Thank you very much, and I'll see you in the next video.